My name is Rafael, you're watching Rock and Roll Garage, and sadly we lost Paul Di'Anno, one of the most influential heavy metal singers of all time for sure. He was the vocalist of Iron Maiden on their self-titled debut album released in 1980, and on the second album, Killers, released in 1981. And obviously Iron Maiden released an official statement about Paul's death. Adrian Smith, the band's guitarist, also shared a special tribute to the late singer, and many other rock stars also paid their tribute to him, and today I'm going to show you a few of these touching and beautiful messages. Okay, let's start with Iron Maiden. We are deeply saddened to learn about the passing of Paul Di'Anno earlier today. Paul's contribution to Iron Maiden was immense and helped set us on the path we have been traveling as a band for almost 5 decades. His pioneering presence as a frontman and vocalist, both on stage and on our first 2 albums, will be very fondly remembered, not just by us, but by fans around the world. And this is what Stevie Harris said, the band's leader, vocalist, and main songwriter. It's just so sad he's gone. I was in touch with him only recently as we text each other about West Ham and their ups and downs. At least he was still gigging until recently. It was something that kept him going, to be out there whenever he could. He will be missed by all of us. Rest in peace, mate. And this is how the statement continued. We are very grateful to have had the chance to catch up a couple of years ago and to spend time with him once more. On behalf of the band, Rod and Andy, and the whole Iron Maiden team, we extend our deepest sympathies to Paul's family and close friends. Rest in peace, Paul. That's what Iron Maiden released. And the band's guitarist, Adrian Smith, who joined the band briefly before the second album with Paul, which was Killers, also shared a special message saying, "Rest in peace, Paul. I remember this moment well, launching the Killers album with a party aboard the HMS Belfast on the Thames in London. He certainly put his stamp on the first 2 albums. Condolences to his family." Another ex-Iron Maiden, another artist who was a member of Iron Maiden, Bayley, who was the vocalist of the band during the 90s, who replaced Bruce Dickinson. He said, "Very sad to hear of the death of my friend Paul Di'Anno. Paul and I did quite a few tours and concerts together over the years. Sweden, rock, Ukraine, Australia, Scandinavia. He had a great sense of humor, and those were crazy times. His voice and his music with Iron Maiden and his own projects will live on. Fondly remembered, sadly missed. Rest in peace." The Black Sabbath main lyricist and bassist Kisser Butler also shared a special message saying, "Sad to hear that Paul Di'Anno has passed away. He, along with the rest of Iron Maiden, revived British metal in the late 70s, early 80s. Rest in peace up to the Irons." The former Judas Priest guitarist KK Downing also shared a message and a photo with Paul Di'Anno. They recently played together. Paul was the opening act of KK's new band, KK's Priest, and he said, "Rest in peace, Paul Di'Anno. You were a legend and a true killer." These photos capture a special moment between Paul and KK meeting again after many years, when Paul's band supported KK's Priest in Wolverhampton, UK. The American thrash metal band Anthrax also shared a special message saying, "We are deeply saddened to hear about the passing of Paul Di'Anno, the original singer of Iron Maiden. His raw energy and unique contribution helped shape the early sound of Iron Maiden and left a lasting impact on the heavy metal community. His work on iconic albums like Iron Maiden and Killers will be always remembered as vital to the band's legacy. Our thoughts go out to his family, friends, and all who were influenced by his powerful voice and larger-than-life presence. Rest in peace, Paul. You will be missed but your music will live on forever. The Sepultura guitarist Andreas Kisser released also a special message saying, "Rest in peace, meu amigo corintiano, a true metal legend. Thank you for everything." The phrase, the part in Portuguese, meu amigo corintiano, means my friend who's a fan of Corinthians, which is a Brazilian football team. Lynn Turner, the previous Rainbow, Deep Purple, and Michael Schenker vocalist, also shared a message saying, "Paul was a great guy, a legend." Here we are on stage in Bogota, Colombia with Dave Evans, who was the original singer of AC/DC, and Rex Caravello on my last birthday, last August 2nd. Very sad. My condolences to his family, friends, and fans. Rest in peace. The former Megadeth bassist David Ellefson also shared a message saying, "Rest in peace to our beloved former Iron Maiden vocalist Paul Di'Anno. The first two Maiden albums, including the live EP Maiden in Japan, were major influences on kids like me as we were in our formative years as musicians. I only met Paul once back in January 2010 as me and the guys in Hail the World were heading up to see Eddie Trunk at Sirius XM in New York City as Paul was coming out from his interview just before us. Condolences to his family, friends, and fans everywhere." The Exodus and Slayer guitarist Gary Holt also shared a message saying, "Rest in peace, Paul Di'Anno, all-time legend, so sad. Those first two Iron Maiden albums changed my life. All-time greats, changed heavy metal. Had the pleasure of playing a show in Arizona with Battlezone, supporting Exodus many years back, and he took the fanboy abuse from all of us like a pure gentleman. This sucked, far too young. Battlezone was a band that Paul Di'Anno was the vocalist for a while." The band Exodus also released a statement saying, "A massive rest in peace from all of us to one of Exodus' all-time heroes, Paul Di'Anno. The first two Maiden albums helped shape who we are as a band, and he had as much to do with that as all of them. Pure gentleman when we had the pleasure of sharing a stage with him. Thank you all for you gave us so many." And that's it. As you can see, he was really an influence to countless artists who appeared after those two first Iron Maiden albums, especially the heavier bands, I would say, because those albums were quite heavy. Iron Maiden still wasn't really showing their progressive rock influences, probably during the past 20 years, Iron Maiden became quite proggy, quite of a progressive metal band, I would say. Those long songs and etc. Those two first albums, although Steve Harris hated punk rock, they're quite punky, I would say, and those songs are really punches in our faces. That's what I really like about those two first albums. They were raw, they were fast, they were heavy, and it was kind of a mix between punk and metal. And Paul was a fundamental part of them for sure. And that's it. I hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your comment, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, and I see you later.